In this DBT quick tips video, we're going to talk about how to make a missing link analysis. Now, that's just a fancy term for how do you figure out when and how to solve problems. Solving problems isn't as easy as it sounds. And there's 4 key questions that you can use to help yourself along to making effective and more powerful solutions to the problems in your life. Now, the first question you can ask yourself, when you hit a brick wall, you've made your chain analysis, you see that problems are, the same problem keeps coming up all over the place. Maybe there's a bunch of problems that keep coming up. You want to ask yourself, okay, in this situation, did you know what sort of behaviors would be effective in that moment? Did you know what was expected of you, is another way of thinking about it. So if you say, no, I really didn't know what was expected of me whatsoever, so now you have some direction. The goal becomes, how can you increase your awareness of what's going on around you, what's expected of you, so that sort of problem doesn't happen again. So right off the bat, an easy solution to the problems that are hitting you might just be figuring out, well, how can you better understand what people expect of you? Maybe it has something to do with your communication. Maybe it has something to do with having problems paying attention to people. Maybe you're multitasking a lot and you're not in the conversation enough to really notice it. Maybe there's a problem with remembering what you need to remember. Maybe the solution to the problems you're having is as simple as writing down what you need to do, or taking extra special care. Really, you might annoy a couple people if you go about this, but it's way better than making enemies. Hey, wait a second, man. I really want to get clear what you're telling me because it's important. Let me write this down. I might forget it. It might not. Might be going in one ear out the other. I want to do this right for you. Oftentimes is actually a beautiful thing to say. It actually improves relationships where you show a real interest in what people want from you. So question 1 is, again, did you know what was expected of you to begin with? This gets to question 2. Let's say yes. Let's say you did know what was expected of you. You got to ask yourself, well, were you willing to do what was expected of you? Or was there a willfulness, a resistance to following through with what you needed to do? Now, this is a bit more complicated because here we're touching on, well, maybe there's some resentment going on. Maybe there's some bitterness. Maybe in the past there's been a lot of, bad water under the bridge here that you've just let go. And so in solving these sorts of issues, you might have to sift through history a little bit and figuring out what exactly is making you so upset, and make a plan to try and pull apart the past, separate that out, and think, okay, well, maybe you have to have conversations you're avoiding with people. Maybe you have to lower expectations with the people around you, number 1. And number 2, it might be helpful, again, separating out the past from the present, trying to appreciate the problems in the moment, even though there's a history, are a lot different. And maybe separating those will actually make you feel better about the problems that are hitting you, and a little more willing to step forward if you can, again, make that separation. The third question you can ask yourself, let's say you're perfectly willing, but the thought never entered into your mind that you needed to do something here, to do something a little bit different. So you have to ask yourself, why didn't it occur to you? Maybe a possible solution here is to be a little more active in planning out and pre-planning for problems that are likely to come up. Maybe it's worth sitting down and thinking, well, I'm just gliding through life. I'm just being a normal guy. But that's not enough. This thing keeps coming up over and over. And sit down and pre-plan a solution for the next time that issue comes up, so that you're ready, that it's on your mind, you're looking out for it, you're willing, you just want to catch it when it occurs. And so if you know what to look for, the signs that this problem's popping up again, and you have a pre-made plan of how you're going to deal with it, well, you're going to come out a lot more effective and sort out that issue before it becomes a big problem. And finally, let's say, all right, you're looking out for the issue, you're willing to tackle this thing, but you feel like it feels like you're walking through clay. You know, do you really want to jump on this right away or not? You know, this might be a question of the sooner you tackle a problem, the better. Yeah, and a solution here might be trying to create a reward system for yourself. Giving yourself some praise, treating yourself a little bit every time that you jump at the chance to solve a problem, as opposed to dragging your feet and letting the problem get ahead of you. And if you use these 4 questions, what'll end up happening, what you'll notice is that you're going to be coming up with a lot of different creative ways of dealing with the problems that are popping up in your life. And the common denominator here in all 4 questions is, well, how much are you taking on yourself to actively meet these problems, as opposed to allowing these problems to find you? Like they say, a good defense is a good offense. And that's definitely the case here with trying to solve problems in life. I hope this video was helpful. If it was useful for you, why don't you give it a click and click like and send it on to your friends. And if you want to send me a comment, go ahead and do so in the comment box, or you can check out my website and shoot me an email. I'll see you in the next video.